I don't want to be in a mastermind group where everybody is really good at sales because I'm really good at sales. I want people to be able to help me with the things that I'm not good at.
I love bookkeeping.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for listening to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast. My name is Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Melissa Honan.
And thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a new episode out every Tuesday and Thursday. Today, we're going to be talking about something that is really important if you're a business owner, especially a virtual business owner, so that you can have that camaraderie and be encouraged and motivated by other business owners, and that is mastermind groups. Melissa, I actually met you for the first time in the Bookkeeper Launch Mastermind Group.
Yes, that is true.
And it's that group has been going steady for such a long time. I feel like I've known so many of you for so long, and it's really a great group.
That was actually OPP, I believe, where we met. And I was like a little bit intimidated by you, I'm not gonna lie. And
really?
Yes.
Was it the height?
No, I think it was because I just thought you were this big social media badass, and I wanted to pick your brain, but I didn't want to be rude about it. Because that was our biggest struggle at the time was the social media marketing and kind of getting into different avenues of marketing. And so, but no, you were so nice and so helpful. And that entire event was really great. And then it was so funny, just a quick anecdote. I found out I was pregnant on the way home in a rest stop.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I didn't want to wait. I was like, wait a second. And then I put two and two together and realized, okay. So that's how I found out I was having Ada at OPP. But yeah, no, I that mastermind group, they still meet, even though I don't think there's it's not really sanctioned anymore. It's they went AWOL and they still meet. I think there's going to be an event coming up in September that they're doing. But I unfortunately won't be able to make it. But I think that's shows you the strength of a mastermind group is even once it's not as formalized anymore, those relationships continue.
Yeah. So when it comes to mastermind groups, what do you think are the things that you need to look for the most? If someone is trying to seek out joining a mastermind group, what are some important things to look for so you can get the most out of it?
I would say people with varied skill sets or varied experience. I don't want to be in a mastermind group where everybody is really good at sales because I'm really good at sales. I want people to be able to help me with the things that I'm not good at. And I'd say also a judgment-free zone, a good personality fit, because I also want to just be able to be myself as well. So I think those would be the big two is finding a good culture fit, and also finding a good mix of people that can help you with the things that you struggle with.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things is also being around people that challenge you, and not really viewing yourself as even close to the smartest person in the room. If you think you're the smartest person in the room wherever you go, then that's a whole other issue. And we're not going to have an episode on that. But I think finding people who are intelligent and who really challenge you and like you said, who are good at things that you're not good at, I think that's super important. That's a really important aspect of a mastermind group is just finding people who challenge you and who hold you accountable to be better and be the best.
Yeah. And I would say finding a group that I think not only challenge you, but support you as well when your goals change, but still don't let you kind of just, I don't want to say fail. That's why I was trying to find a different way to say it, but people that are going to be understanding if you have to pivot and then continue to support you and challenge you as you pivot as well. I think, I'm currently in a mastermind group of about 5 other people. And that's what's been helpful for me over the last couple of months. I've had a lot of changes in my life and I've had to do a lot of pivoting, and they've been so supportive the entire way. And they haven't been like, oh, well, you didn't do this one thing that you said you set your mind out to. It's like, no, like my life turned upside down, and things changed. And now they're like, okay, well, now how can we help you through this? So I would just say like people that are also understanding, but I think that goes in with the culture fit as well, of course.
Yeah. That's so interesting that you say that, because I'm not in a mastermind group, and like talking about this, I feel hypocritical because I'm like, well, I probably should be in a mastermind group. Note to self, join a mastermind group. But the mastermind group I have witnessed has been I guess if it's Bookkeeper Elite, Bookkeeper Launch, that group I've watched for so long, and I feel like I've watched so much growth. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the encouragement and the brainstorming that goes on at mastermind groups. When you have those meetings, and I want to get your take on this, and then I want to tell you my take. What do you think are the most important things to accomplish at a mastermind group meeting?
At a mastermind group meeting. So I'm not gonna lie. I haven't always been bought into mastermind groups. And not because I don't think they're worthwhile. I just have a hard time being consistent with them. And so what I really like about the one that I'm in now is that we did listen to Brandy's speech at BKX, where she did talk about her mastermind group. And we took a lot of feedback on how she, how that team runs their meetings. And so we've been kind of following that same model, and there's a lot more structure to it. And so I think for me, that structure is really necessary, instead of it just being, because I'm so chatty, obviously, like I can never stay on track. And I like the people that are in my mastermind group, I would consider them friends. So I think if you didn't have that structure, it would be really hard to be productive. So we have it set up where every person does have a turn, and there's a set amount of time for them to kind of go through their issue, and then for us to respond, and then for them to do follow-ups. So for me, I think it's really important to set a structure going into it so that you guys can be productive.
That was one of my biggest things is the mastermind meetings that I've watched and that I've witnessed and worked at. There's kind of an overarching theme or goal, whether it's processes or onboarding or something of that nature. There's a theme, and everyone has their challenges and the ways that they are going to work to accomplish this, whatever theme or subject matter is going on. And so I think that's a great way, not really having like a brain dump meeting, which is so funny because we actually just interviewed Ben Day talking about brain dumps, and he does them by himself. But I think if you did that in a mastermind meeting, it would almost be kind of a cluster F, because it would be too much going on. I think if it's organized and concise and you kind of have a subject that you're honing in on, I think that's a lot more beneficial for everybody, because you can have a common ground to talk about and to relate to, but also have your own ways of accomplishing what you're out to accomplish. So I think one of the most important things at mastermind meetings is organization and encouragement. And I think it's also great that the ones that I've witnessed, I think it really, it kind of motivates people. It kind of lights a fire under your butt to get going, and to have accountability buddies, and to talk about your pains, and to have people that can relate to what you're going through. I think that's I think masterminds, like 75% of it is just camaraderie, which is really needed, I think, when you're a business owner, because it can be kind of lonely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely to circle back and say, like, have your like mental breakdown, brain dump prior to the mastermind group.
Exactly.
So that it's not like pure chaos.
Today's show is brought to you by Keeper, the one app to run your bookkeeping business. Keeper helps you get faster client responses with your own custom branded QuickBooks integrated client portal. Finally, you can say goodbye to those pesky spreadsheets full of uncategorized transactions. Keeper also helps you catch those embarrassing coding errors before your clients do. And with Keeper, you can generate beautiful custom reports that your clients will absolutely love to read. To find out more, go to keeper.app. That's keeper.app. Mention I Love Bookkeeping to get 20% off your first 3 months. Again, go to keeper.app to find out more. Thank you for listening.
I'd also recommend to people, so I'm currently, obviously, I'm in a mastermind group with bookkeeping business owners, but other mastermind groups I've been a part of are just entrepreneurs. I do really love to be around other entrepreneurs that are in different industries. And so if you feel like you haven't found the right bookkeeping mastermind, there are just general masterminds as well for business. So I would recommend looking at those as well and seeing what's the right fit for you. Also, there are paid masterminds versus just like free masterminds. The ones that I'm in, we're not paying, we're just doing it as a team. But there are like different business coaches that do offer like mastermind groups for a charge. I believe bookkeepers.com has done that with the different programs that they have as well. And so I'd really look into something like that that's a little bit more formalized where it's being led by somebody with experience. So definitely head over to bookkeepers.com, reach out to them to see if they're still accepting people into those groups because especially those that are students of Bookkeeper Launch, like getting in and being with, other successful people that have been through the same training. I think that would be really, really helpful. But that would be a great way to have that like formal mastermind. And it might also motivate you a little bit more. If you're putting a little bit of money down, maybe you'll take it a little bit more serious. Not that you wouldn't, but it just kind of gives you that.
You want to get your money's worth.
Yeah, you want to get your money's worth for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think is the best way for those who are listening who aren't in a mastermind group? What do you think is the best way to go about finding a mastermind group? Besides, the obvious is with Bookkeeper Launch or bookkeepers.com, joining one of our mastermind groups or one of the mastermind groups. We don't have them. Students put them together themselves. But what are some ways you can join a mastermind group if it's just generally for business?
I would just put yourself out there. Just like start researching, decide if you want to do it in person or virtually, and then, just search to find somebody that's going to provide what you need. Just decide whether you want to do it in person or virtually, and then really just start looking. I mean, you can just even Google search in your area, business mastermind groups for plus, whatever you're struggling with. But I would recommend staying in the community to start and at least, get some experience with like-minded people. And you just have to put yourself out there. So even just like posting on Circle and saying, hey guys, I'm looking for some people that, want to meet and grow. So it's going to be like a little bit like online dating. I'm so sorry, but you do just kind of have to put yourself out there at first, unless you do want to find like a paid mentor.
Mm. Well, and I think another great way to utilize searching would be if you're in a Facebook group, just putting yourself out there and asking for people's experience with their mastermind groups, and the different ones that are available if you are looking not only virtually, but locally as well. So what do you think are some of the ways to really get the most out of attending mastermind groups or being a part of a mastermind group? And I think I'm going to go ahead and answer. I think the number one thing is participation.
Yes. I think, and I said this on stage at BKX too, that because we had talked about masterminds a little bit because Brandy spoke on it. And I had mentioned that I had not been really a part of a mastermind group in a while because I felt like I didn't have anything to give back at the moment. That basically everything I was going to do was just to take. So I definitely agree with that you not only should you participate in the sense where obviously you're requesting feedback, but also providing that feedback as well. It has to be a two-way street.
Yeah. I think another great way to really just get the most out of mastermind groups is to network, which it's kind of files under participation. But I think when you form that, I think that goes beyond participating. Because when you form those bonds and you form those relationships, and maybe even friendships, it just takes it that much further to what you're going to get out of it. And so I feel like it's kind of, you get what you put in. And I think another great way to get the absolute most is to really maintain those friendships, whether that be virtually or in person. I think establishing and maintaining relationships in mastermind groups are such an amazing way to just get the most out of them from what I've witnessed.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I think it's really great. When there's people in my mastermind group that reach out to each other throughout the month in between when we meet, just saying, hey, wanted to check in on you and see how you were doing this month, that type of thing. Again, going back to building relationships, it's important in every aspect of life.
Yeah. So when it comes to being a virtual business owner, and you obviously live in Nicaragua right now, how have you been able to utilize mastermind groups from being not only a virtual business owner, but being physically far away from the people in Bookkeeper Launch or the people at bookkeepers.com? Yeah,
I mean, our meeting is virtually, so it doesn't really matter where I am. It's always remote. But when we have like Bookkeeper Elite events and things like that, like when there's BKX, I mean, we fly back to the United States for those. And I think it's really important, and it's a business expense. And it can be a little bit of a vacation too. But I think that for me, in-person events are really important. I think that I get a lot done virtually, but I do think that in-person events just are at another level of just camaraderie and connection, and separating yourself from your home life, kind of a la Benday's brain dump in a sense. So I would say if it's in the budget, or if you can work it into the budget, traveling to do in-person events is really important. And so we do that a few times a year.
And how do you maintain, I guess, kind of the ideas and the motivation that you get from these events? Because I know that almost everybody I talk to, that's what they experience from a mastermind event, is lots of new ideas, lots of motivation. How do you maintain that and implement it in your business? And not really, I guess, not like trying not to lose steam from all the good things you just learned.
I guess I don't really have that problem. When I get that motivation and I make a list, and then I come up with the order I'm going to do that list and schedule it out, and I just get it done. I just get it done, and I just plan it. I usually plan it out, either like at the end or like I usually give myself a few days after the mastermind before I go back to real life, to really plan out how I'm going to do it. But, and I would also say I don't take a lot away. So, what Ben Robinson had said at BKX, like, I'll pick your one thing. I pick maybe one or two things that I'm going to work on, and then I really make sure that they're going to get done. I've never left an event with a list of 15 things, because I just know that's just not attainable. So I really hone in on like what I should be working on, and then make that plan and stick to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think for people listening who, because I think it's common. I think it's pretty normal to go to these events, get motivated, get all these ideas, and then lose steam after
1,000%, because you pick too many. Pick one. Just pick one.
Just pick one and get it scheduled while you still have the steam.
Yeah, or just do it. Because there's a lot of things where I've been at events and people are like, "Oh, when I get home, I'm going to do X, Y, Z." I'm like, "Why don't you just do that right now? You could literally, you have your laptop, just do it." So just really, I would really say, if you can, especially, I know this is hard for especially people that are the primary caregivers of their children, but stay an extra day or two past the events that you attend, so that you kind of can, almost like, come down from the high of the event before you go back to real life, but also wrap it up. It kind of gives you that offboarding to wrap up your thoughts and get yourself prepared to go back to real life.
I think that's great advice when you said about picking one thing and kind of going full steam ahead with it when you get home. We hope you guys have enjoyed this episode about mastermind groups. If you have comments, questions, concerns, or you just want to chat, please send us a message at hello@ilovebookkeeping.com. Again, that's hello@ilovebookkeeping.com. Don't forget to subscribe. We have new episodes out every Tuesday and Thursday, available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts for Android, and Spotify. My name is Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Melissa Honan.
And thank you for listening to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast.
I love bookkeeping. Here's a little shout to all my friends working hard at keeping the books. You want to change your life, you want to